Hi, this is Trinisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about single. I was going to say single season, but I think I'm just going to say being single or something like that. So one of those will be the title. So today I was listening to a sermon earlier, and I really started reflecting on my single season, and I started reflecting on how my priorities have been misaligned. And I don't want to say that I just started focusing on the wrong things, but I easily got distracted by some things in my life and it kind of took me off track. And I feel like it's important to be transparent in this moment because I don't want to just pretend as if I just always made all of the best decisions throughout my entire life. So when people see these videos and they fall, which we will all fall because we are not God and we are human beings, we are going to make mistakes so that we can learn from them so God can use it as a lesson to build us into and push us into our purpose. So it's not that he ever intended for us to just be perfect or anything like that. He wants us to do the best that we can. And so, oh, I said can. And so if you know about the backstory, I always say kin or something like that. And so every once in a while, the proper English will come out, but it's neither here nor there. And so, so while I'm in my single season, while I'm in this season of my life, and I should just say this season of my life, but any season, it's really for us to just cherish the moments that God's giving us in our life, the people that He's giving us, the opportunities that He's given us, the opportunities that He's removed, the people that He's removed from our life, because the people who are supposed to be there with you through your next journey in life are the people that are supposed to be in your life to help you in the next season or in that season or whatever else it is. And I don't want to be cliche and say everyone's there for a reason in a season like most people say. I feel like God has a purpose for every person that is in position and a place in your life because it helps push you into purpose. Sometimes those experiences, those conversations can help you become a better person. They can help you grow. They can help you develop. And I don't think it has to do with the person being bad or good or indifferent. I think it just has to do with each person being placed in a position to help all of us be pushed into purpose. And so for me, because I've been or I have been distracted in the past, or I've had moments where I have not been completely focused on my purpose, or I've started to put more energy into things that don't need that type of energy instead of redirecting it into things that are actually beneficial, things that are actually going to help me in my future. I was listening to this sermon earlier and I was like, I didn't even realize I was taking so much of my energy away from my purpose and putting it towards this. Like, I'm a chronic overthinker, and I don't know if I should claim that. That's something that I've struggled with in the past, and I'm trying to work on bettering it because I don't want to be in a situation where I have a conversation with someone in the future, and instead of just letting it go, I'm still over analyzing it in my mind or thinking of another solution or over responding or something like that because I just don't want to come off the wrong way because I know that sometimes when I say things, because I like to be honest and I try to be honest from a loving and caring place. And sometimes when I say things, it's like brutal. I don't know if brutal is the right word to use. It's just completely honest, is what I should say. It's completely honest. I don't know if I want to say brutal because I'm not doing it with the intention of hurting someone. I'm not doing it with the intention of being like nasty or anything like that. I just want to be completely honest. I just want to, if someone asks me a question, I'm straight up, like so straight up about it. I don't like to pretend as if I feel a certain way that I don't. I don't like to pretend as if I'm okay with something that I'm not, just to make someone else feel better. And I understand you're probably saying, well, you can't just hurt people's feelings. Like, let's say, for example, this has never happened, but let's say, for example, my friend comes up and they say, this is just an example, and they say, "Does my breath stink?" Like, does my breath smell? Whatever else. I'll be like, yes, here's some gum, or here's a mint, or it doesn't. It smells like I wouldn't say what it smells like. I would just say, here's some mint or some gum or, you know, or whatever else. Like I would be honest. I wouldn't want them to go up to talk to like a group of people or something like that and then be embarrassed because they're in that position. So I would be honest and they did ask me for my opinion. I wouldn't say it like, "Oh yeah, girl, you need to do this." This is like I'm not going to try to beat someone down and make them feel badly. I wouldn't do anything like that, but I do try to be honest. And so like even when there's like certain people in my life, like I might have people that are friends or whatever else, and they might say something like, "Oh yeah, I really want to get with you or something like that." And I'm like, I'm not ready. Like, if I'm not ready, or when I was in my healing process and I said, I'm just not ready for anything. I don't want, right now, I'm not ready to be in any type of relationship. I'm still healing, stuff like that, or whatever else. Like, I try to be completely honest. I don't ever want to be the person that leads someone on or makes someone feel like there's going to be something that it's not. I don't want to ever be the type of woman who uses someone for companionship or for just them being a part of my life just just to drag them along. I never want to waste someone's time when they could be with someone else. Like if I know that I'm not there yet and I don't know when I would be ready to date or when I would be feel like I'm healed enough to give someone an opportunity, I don't want to just this might be the wrong thing to do, so don't just do this because I did this, but this is just my opinion, what I've done. And so I would just say, I wasn't ready because I wouldn't want to hold the person up from meeting the person that's for them. Like, I met some pretty amazing people, and man, I wish I was ready. But I wasn't ready, and I can't force myself to be ready just because someone is an amazing person, just because someone looks good, just because someone talks good, or just because our core values and everything else aligns. Like, if if it's God, if it's meant to be, it'll be regardless. Like the person might still be single in a year or whatever else it is, and everything will just line up, or God will allow it to flow the way it's supposed to flow, or whatever else. I don't ever want to be the type of person that holds someone up from the type of life that God wants for them just because I'm not ready, or just because I'm not in a position where I would be ready for something like that. Like some people might say something like, this is just an example. I'm not getting on anyone, but I might meet someone who says, "Oh yeah, my goal is to get married in 3 months." There's a phone going off somewhere or an alarm. Maybe if I ignore it, it'll stop. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to stop it. So the alarm has been turned off. So yeah, and I'm hoping that what it does is it allows for when I meet someone and like I'm talking to someone or whatever else, or we start to grow on each other or develop into something more, then I I'll get the truth from them because I was being honest. Like that's what I like to think of. I like to think of whatever I'm sowing in the world is what I'll reap. And so if I'm being honest with someone, I would want for someone to be honest with me. I wouldn't want them to pretend as if there's going to be something when there's not going to be anything. I wouldn't want them to pretend as if they're interested when they're really not interested, or for someone to say, "Oh yeah, I definitely want this, this, and this," and they know that's not what they want. They know they're not ready. They know that they just kind of want to be out playing the game, and I just don't want to do that. And so I'm hoping that that gives me some of that energy. Like I get to just be around people who want to be completely honest with me because I'm being honest, and not in a mean way. Like I don't want someone to be like, "Yeah, I don't want you at all." Like why is my like interpretation of a guy saying that like that? But anyways, yeah, I don't want them to just be like over the top and doing the most. Like you could say it in either way that you say it, it'll be fine because if it's meant to be, it'll be. It's not something that I could or that you could force to happen. It just has to happen on its own. And so I don't know why my forehead is so shiny right now. I don't know why I needed to say that on the video, but it already happened. Oh, it's because the light's reflecting on there. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, this is random, but so the other day I was saying, oh, I just put like some stuff, the skincare treatment on my face, and whenever like I'm about to get a pimple or something, I put it on there and it just goes away the next day. And it has done that every day in the past. Ever since I've said that, I have had one breakout every single day since then. I don't know what's happening. My skin is going crazy. I don't know if it's because of the weather or what, but it really is just like, oh my goodness. is mm, I think it's like that tongue, the power of the tongue again. Like you just have to be really careful with what it is that you're saying because the areas of your life that you don't struggle in, it'll end up being your next test because you feel arrogant in it or because you feel comfortable in it or because you feel like you're okay in it. And so I think it's really important for us to just be humble and just appreciate. Like I wish I could have just appreciated my clean skin, clear skin for like what it was. And I don't want to say clean because sometimes your pores get clogged because of, you sleeping, or it could be just the weather, it could be hormones, it could be anything. So it's not necessarily just because you're not cleansing your skin properly. It could just be because of the weather or hormones or anything. Because like most women know, hormones just can mess your skin up so fast and you just don't even know what's coming. It could just be anything. It could be that the month, it could be anything, whatever. And so it's just, it's one of those things that you can never really plan for. Like every year, I usually get like some kind of weird breakout somewhere around here. And when I get it, I'm always like, oh my gosh, really? Like, this so sucks because it takes like 3 days for it to go away. It never just goes away like super fast. And so I have to be really careful. And then I think it comes from stress because whenever I feel like I'm the most stressed during that period, during that time when the weather changes or whatever else, it's like, I'm like, what in the world? And so but let me just stop talking about random stuff and stay focused on the message. So, well, it was purposeful because I just really feel like we need to be careful about what it is we speak over our lives and what we're saying. And even though I like to be straightforward, and I don't think I'm going to change being honest with people because I would want someone to be honest with me. Like if they weren't feeling me, I would want them to be honest about it. And not in a mean way, but be honest. If someone was feeling a certain type of way or they were interested, I would want them to be honest. I wouldn't want them to just pretend like, oh, yeah, it's whatever. Like it's not a whatever. We're living with intentionality. So I don't think I have room in my life for a whatever situation. I have room in my life for people who are moving intentionally because they're focused on their purpose or because they want to give glory to God or whatever else it is. And so or whatever else it is, because sometimes it's just work ethic and it has to do with you just being intentional. Just be intentional. And so in any area of my life, like at work, I want to be intentional and make sure that I am putting forth an effort. I'm working. I am being a good steward. I'm doing all the things that I need to do there. And friendships, I want to be a good friend. I want to be intentional about my friendship. I want it to be mutually beneficial. I want to make sure that I'm not just a me type of person, that I'm a other people as well. And so I try to make sure that I am being intentional in every area of my life so that I can do the things that are necessary for me to do. And while I'm in this season, the single season, I don't know why I said it like that, but okay. But while I'm in this season, I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if I don't desire to be in a relationship one day. I do desire to be in a relationship one day. And I noticed that it has been on my mind more than I would like for it to be. Like I've been focused on like grow my business and things like that. And I'll just go into like this loop. This, I guess it's okay to share this. I don't know. Somebody's probably gonna judge me, but it's fine. And so, and so I just have been in this loop of just constantly thinking about a possible relationship, or, just the next season of my life instead of appreciating the season that I'm in. And it happens so quickly because I usually am so appreciative of every day, and I do my devotion, and I thank God, and I'm grateful every morning for the things that I have at that moment. And I do take time to think about things like that. And it's not just being in a relationship, period. It's about any actions that I've taken in the past, anything that I can do that I've made a mistake on. It sometimes replays in my mind, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should have said this like this, or maybe if I didn't say this, then this person wouldn't feel this type of way, or maybe if I could have been a little bit more kinder when I said blah, and it's not just that I could have been more kinder and then it's gone. It's like I could have been more kinder, and then 5 minutes later I could have been more kinder, and then 5 minutes later, and I'm like, and then like I'll stop and I'll like read or I'll do other stuff, but then it's like it just keeps replaying, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, didn't I already think about this? Why is this on my mind so heavy? It's ridiculous. Like, I feel like my energy and my focus and the things that I want to do in life could be used so much better. It could be so much more beneficial in an area that's producing something within me. I don't understand if it's just like a woman thing, or if it's just because of this season in my life, or it's just because of, I don't know what it is, or if it's because I had a moment of rest in between work and everything else, or what. But I'm just like, I don't want to be the type of person that is sitting here thinking about something that I can't change. I want to enjoy my life. Like, there's things that I like to do in my single season that I really want to enjoy doing. And some of it I think is because I know like certain people will be certain places. So it's not just like, oh, I go this place and it's good. It's like I go this place and I run into past people or something like that. And it's just when I'm not thinking about it, when I'm good, either I get a text message or a call from a random number or a DM, or I'm somewhere and they're the person, there someone is. And it's just like, really? I'm trying so hard to just focus on appreciating my life. And it's so difficult because every time my mind is clear, every time I get into a position where I feel like I just want to focus on, God, I want to focus on my purpose, I want to focus on my friends and family, I want to focus on growing my business, things like that. It's like I feel content, and I'm like, you know what, I'm good in this moment. As soon as I feel that moment of goodness, good, goodness, it's like oh my goodness, really? Here goes X X A, or here goes Steve. Why did I say Steve? Now there's gonna be somebody named Steve that's gonna be like, I don't even know her. But yeah, it's just like, what in the world? It's crazy. It's real crazy. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I really feel like part of it is Satan, part of it's emotional, mental, whatever else. And I just feel like anytime you feel like you could be ready to just be content in your life, to appreciate your life, to be good with your life, then the adversary will always try to make you feel like it's not good enough, or always make you feel like you're missing something when you have everything that you need. And he's so sneaky with that because you really, and ladies and men, you know what I'm talking about. You know, I'm not the only person that has went through this, that you get that DM or something else from someone like 15 years, 16 years ago that's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that, you're single now." And I'm just like, "Okay." Or what you been up to, and I'm just like, "Oh man, like, goodness gracious, the adversary be working, man." So, so I took some notes from the sermon because I want to stay focused. And before I hop into like my little notes and all that other stuff, because I always have to write it down or I will forget. Because I'm always overanalyzing, my mind's all over the place. So yeah, men, women, you know what I'm talking about with that. You get that text or something. As soon as you're like, I'm 100% all God, I'm 100% in my purpose, I'm 100% doing the things that will actually help me grow and be a better person. I'm actually content with my life. I actually feel happy. I actually feel like this is okay. I actually feel like I'm going to be fine in this season. I actually have the motivation, the extra focus that I needed. I'm being a better parent. I'm being a better family member and friend. And the next thing you know, here goes Steve. Here goes Sarah hopping in the DMs, or they find your number some kind of way, or from your business or whatever else. And here they go with the text messages. And it's like, really though? Really? This is what we doing? And so it's just, man, like, mm-mm-mm. Anytime you feel content, and I don't know what it is that we're going to have to do to stay focused, but it has to happen because we can't allow the adversary to have advantage over us or take over our life, or to disrupt our peace and disrupt our joy, and to make us feel as if we're missing anything or we're inadequate in any way, or to make us insecure or feel as if we don't have the things that God has given us. Like, God has given me so much in my life and blessed me in so many areas. Like, He gave me, He introduced people into my life that allowed me to have hope in certain areas. And it's like, in the areas that God gave me hope, Satan tries to give me dismay. And he just really tries to make me feel as if I'm missing something, or make me feel as if, like, he tries to turn the situation from something good to something bad. Like, I will be doing something and I'll meet like this amazing person who I don't think of in that way or something like that. And we just talk about God and we have really good conversation. And he will make it into something gross and like disgusting. And it's like, really, like, I just really felt like it was good to have a person in your life who you could talk about with religious stuff, because you're on the same journey, because you're both trying to be better people, because this is where you want to learn and grow. And then the adversary turns it into something that's like not not peaceful, something that disrupts you and like tries to make it seem as if your character is bad. Like, oh yeah, no, you could never just be, you know, just only want, like, not be ready for a relationship. Like, as if I get a lot of people, especially like guys, that will say, oh, there's no way, you just want to be single. And it's like, the audacity. What in the world? Really? Like, what is wrong with being single? I don't understand why it's like a thing that people really feel like they have the right to tell you how you're supposed to live your life, and what you should and should not be doing, and what they are and are not going to be. Like, everyone has a choice of how they feel about you. I don't like disagree with that at all. What I disagree with is how, even if you're being like a nice person, because you're nice, that means that you like someone. Like, I don't think that's what that means at all. Like, I'm just a nice person in general. I treat everybody like that. It's not that because I'm nice to you, I want you. Like, that's not, no, that's not true. I don't understand where this misconception lies. It just is so ridiculous. And it's crazy. I don't understand it. I think it actually, I do kind of understand it, because in society, they want us to just be all or nothing. It's like the women have to be against each other. We can't just work on the same team. You have to want this woman's man, or this man's woman. Like, you can't just find your own person. You have to be a side person, because there's not a lot of men. Like, there's so many societal standards and things out there that just make people believe that things have to be a certain way, instead of just
be staying focused on God and in your purpose and just doing the best that you can. Like if you know something's wrong, don't do it. Don't do it just because you have one friend that told you it's okay. Like that's not good enough. For my people in my life, it's not good enough for them to have to do anything that's below their standards. I want every single person in my life to be happy. I want every single person to get what they truly deserve, what God intends for their life. I don't want any person to be treated as if they're not a priority. I don't want any person in my life to feel as if they have to settle for something less than God's best for them. I don't want anyone in my life, any friends, any family members, anybody to feel like they have to lower themselves just to have a person in their life, or they have to lower their standards just to be with someone, or whatever else it is. Like, I want people to truly be happy. I really, truly care about people. And some people take it the wrong way and they're like, oh, she's totally into me. And I'm like, okay, well, obviously there's some. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna judge people. This is what we're not gonna do right now. I'm not gonna allow that into my heart. And so it's just, it's crazy. Like, it's weird too. Like for me, I'm in a different stage of my life because it's like I can meet people, and in the past I would have thought, "Oh, I'm going to be in a relationship with this person because they're attractive." And now I'm in the point of my life where I'm like, we could probably work together. This is somebody who might be good with my cousin. This is someone who might be good with whoever else. This is someone who, occasionally I'll see and we'll just have normal conversation with, and it'll just be beneficial in that way. This is someone who goes through the same things that I went through, and it might be good to have a friend like that in my life, but maybe not have friends of the opposite sex, because, that always turns into something else. For me, it always does. Like, I usually can stay focused and I don't like to cross the line. And I'm not saying I don't think at all about anyone in that way or anything like that. I'm just saying in general, I just like to stay focused on whatever it is. Until this is how I feel, and I'm probably the only woman that feels like this, but whenever I am friends with someone of the opposite sex, or acquaintances, let's not say friends because we know men and women can't really be friends. And I know that's going to be like one of those really contradictory, contradictory. I don't want to say contradictory. I want to say controversial statements that a lot of people say that, they just get up in arms about because people say, I can be friends with all of these people and it's fine. Yeah, but somebody has feelings for somebody every single time. Like, I haven't met one situation where the person either didn't have feelings or whatever else. It's always like that. And even if you say you're not attracted to the person, you're giving all of this emotional attention to this person that's drawn away from your relationship, which is unhealthy for your relationship that you're in. So it's really not benefiting you at all. Like, can you say you're cool, like you are acquaintances with people, you have people in your life who are nice people, who you talk to, who you're nice to, who you have a conversation with here and there? Like, yeah. Can you say that you are sharing your hopes and dreams with this person and you are talking to each other almost every day or every week, or you are whatever else? Like, can you really say that you are? Okay, I could see where I messed up right there now. Okay. But if you're doing that, then it's taking away from another area of your life. And so for me, I honestly, this is like the truth, and I I like to be transparent in these videos. I don't think about anybody in any way unless they say, I'm interested in you. Like, I probably have to hear some words like that, or I like you, for me to actually think someone's interested in me at all. And so I know that sounds weird because you hear like the stories about me always getting hit on all the time and all that other stuff. But I really truly just feel like I miss all the subtle hints. So when people do stuff and like my family members and friends or other people say, "Oh, this person's so into you." And I'm just like, they never said anything, so I'm taking that as they're not. And so I really do because I don't just ever want to assume that someone is interested when they're not interested. And so I mean, even when a person asks me on a date, it's kind of like, okay, they're probably maybe interested, you know, but until the person like says they like me or they're interested or they would like to get to know me better or something like along those lines where they're intentional and it seems as if they have a direction in some kind of way. And like even when someone says, "Oh, I'm interested in getting to know you," and they're not about that life, they don't back it up with action. I'm still like they're not that interested. Like they might be attracted to me, but they're not interested, if that makes any sense. So no matter who's in my life, friend, acquaintance, whatever, if it's like a person of the opposite sex, if I'm getting to know someone or if whatever else, especially in like different areas of my life, I just assume that we're cool. I assume that this is just a person who we have things in common. This is just a random stranger, well, random acquaintance or whatever you want to call it, or friend, and we just like a lot of the same things. I don't ever think of it in that way until someone says I'm interested. And if the person is attractive or if they are decent looking or if they have the right core values and goals and things like that and they say they're interested, I will give them a chance. I will. I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh no, I would never give them a chance." I'm not thinking of them in that way until then, but I also am not just like, "Oh, whatever else." It would have to be if it's someone who is attractive in some way to me or who has the same values or similar values and we are cool or something like that, honestly, until they say this is blah, I don't think this is anything. I just think that you're a random person that I know that I have a lot of stuff in common with. We know that happened in the past. We know that, okay, maybe you don't know my backstory, but I had some things in common with the person that I was a lot of the people with the one person that I was with and some of the other people that I was with. And because of one similarity, because of one thing we had in common, I jumped into a relationship because of something so frivolous, something so minute that it really shouldn't have even created a relationship. And so now when I look, which I think is why I look at it this way now, when I look at like people who I have things in common with, I don't think automatically this is a person I should be with. I think automatically this is someone that God allowed in my life at this moment. I think this might be beneficial in this way. Like maybe we just have similar backgrounds and we could help each other through this. Or, if there's something that's going on and they need help at some place, I could help there and it could help business wise. Maybe we are both writers, or maybe we are both into religion or something like that. And we can bounce ideas off of each other about like our journey and how to stay strong when it comes to like living in society or like different ways to grow in religion or learn different ways or to still be like a Christian and have like good, clean fun, things like that, or something like that is like what I'm thinking of when I think of having a similarity. Now, if someone comes up and they say, "I want to get to know you," and they put some effort behind it, I'm like, okay, this person's interested. They're they're interested and then they might grow to like me or something. I don't know. If someone's like, I'm interested or if, let's just say we're just in the similar group. We just know a lot of the same people. We meet each other. We might hang out or something. Maybe we don't hang out. I don't know why I said that. And so we might just be cool people. Who knows? Like, there's no way of telling what's going to happen or how it's going to happen or why it's going to happen. And I can't just assume anything. So I never like to just assume that someone is or isn't interested, that someone does or doesn't like me or anything. They can think I'm a nice person. They could be attracted to me. I could not be their type. I could not be their cup of tea. Who knows? I just know that I don't assume anything until someone says something. That's it. It just is what it is. And so let me get focused on this. And I felt like I needed to say that because I run into that all the time. Like all the time. Like this is what happens to me. I don't know why it happens or anything else, but I don't know why I was leaning that far back. But I was whenever I go somewhere, I will be like walking down the street or walking into a store or walking somewhere and I'll be like smiling and, just thinking about life and just happy, because God's in my life. And I'll just be walking and there's this person, like, let's say we're like this close to each other. So we're this close to each other and I'm walking and I see the person and I'm just like, and they're like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, I'm doing good. How are you? And they immediately say I have a girlfriend. And I'm like, I didn't even ask you all of that. I'm walking into a store. What are you talking about? It happens legit. It happens so much. It's crazy. I don't understand what that's about. But if anybody knows what it's about, somebody tell me because I don't get it. And it's not like I'm like, oh, hey, how are you? Let me just have this whole conversation with you and be all extra thirsty. Like, I just say, I'm fine. How are you? Like a normal common courtesy, not like in that way at all. And so it's weird. And then like I'll be cool with people and I'll just be like, oh yeah, we're doing this and that and this and that and we'll go to the same places or something or whatever else. We'll hang out. Like let's say we were gonna hang out or something like that. Me hanging out to go to like a group activity for business is not a date. Me going me going to like I don't know, to a thing in the country with I don't know, just I don't when I think about it, I can see how people would take it the wrong way the more that I say it out loud because I'm like, oh, people are thinking that I mean that. And I'm like, I would not at all ask anybody out on a date in Jesus' name. And so if I am hanging out with someone, if I'm cool with someone and we just are cool and we just are in the same social groups or something like that and we're hanging out, unless it's called a date, we are not going on a date. So I don't know where this misconception comes from, where people are believing that that's what it actually is, but it's not. And so, I mean, I get it because it does sound like, oh, well, she's totally into me. And a lot of guys assume that women are into them from nothing. Like I don't know what it's about, where it's coming from. I don't know if it's like arrogance or what it is, and I don't want to get on guys because it's not all men. It's just while I'm in this single season, I have met several guys that are just like, "Oh yeah, she like when I'm walking like into a store or something, and let's say I meet a guy and he asks me for my number, he would just automatically assume that I'm totally, completely, I was the person that was so into him. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand where that comes from. Or like, you'll say, "Yeah, I'm doing good," or I just like to smile all the time, so I'm not just smiling because I'm just trying to be all up in somebody's Kool-Aid or something. Like, I don't know what the term that to use is. Like, I'm not just stuck brown nosing. I don't know what type of terminology to use, but I'm not being a nice person because I want to kiss someone's behind. I'm being nice because I'm a nice person. And so it's hard for me sometimes when I meet people because they will assume, oh yeah, she definitely wanted me. This is the reason why, like a lot of people will say, the reason why she did blah is because she's so interested in me. Like you're so into me. And I'm like, okay, Like, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know how to react to those type of situations, but it happens all the time. And I'm starting to feel like, is it something that I'm doing that's making people believe that, or is it just like an arrogance thing? Is it a conceited thing? Is it like, is it something people tell themselves because they want to feel better about themselves? Like, I don't know what like. Is it a joke? Like, are they joking and I just can't take a joke? I don't know. Like, I'm so lost out here in these streets. I really am. I just, oh my goodness, it's bad. And mm, I don't know what to say about that. It's just, it always catches me off guard when people just assume things. And I'm just like, what would make you think that? I don't understand why that would be what you think. Like, I'm one of those people who is big on communication. So before I assume anything, I want to know where people stand. I don't just like to assume someone is interested or someone likes me or someone is doing this or that. And so for me, when other people just assume things, it's like, where did you get that from? I mean, I can understand like the actions. We were hanging out, and apparently, when you say you want to hang out with someone or we should meet up, guys, this is for the single women who have been in a relationship for 15 to 20 years or whatever else, and you just getting back into the dating scene. Let me tell you this ahead of time so that you don't make the same mistake, the same. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to use that word. You don't want to make that same mistake that I did. So, when you say you want to hang out, or when you guys are talking about hanging out or meeting up or whatever else, whenever you say hang out or meet up, this is just my interpretation. I could be wrong, but guys assume that means going on a date immediately. Like, oh yeah, okay, we're doing this, this, and this. Yeah, let's go ahead and, if we can meet up, that's cool, you know. And they're like, date. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, I guess if people are being intentional, they would be dating. So maybe it's my fault. I don't know. But when I'm thinking of hanging out and I'm thinking of being cool with someone, I'm not thinking of them in that way. I'm thinking of it just as like we're hanging out and we're cool. Now, if we decide that we are going to date, then I would expect the person to ask me on a date and we are going on a date. I wouldn't just expect it to be like we're cool, we're just talking, we hang out or something like that, and then you just assume that I want you because I'm meeting up. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I probably will never understand because I'm a woman and it's the opposite sex. I don't know, but man, it's like there's all of these rules and things that you're supposed to be doing and assumptions that people make. And so you just have to be really careful with how you present yourself, the way that you say things, the type of words that you use, because some of the words that I used back in the day don't mean the same thing now. And so it's like everyone's like misinterpreting things and it's turning into something that it's not. People are thinking that they got a one up on you because you're being a kind person when really you're just being a kind person. Like you're trying not to be spiteful and nasty because your feelings are hurt and really they just feel like, oh well, I'm just gonna be able to do blah. And no, you're not gonna be able to do blah. I'm just not going to shrink myself and turn into somebody that I'm not just because you don't want to be nice to me. Like that's not what I want to do. And so it's hard out here in these streets. It is. And so while I was talking about appreciating your life, appreciating the things that you do and the things that God's given you and not just taking things for granted. And I'm sorry I went on a whole rant. It's just it happens very frequently. Like people always assume things. Not always. Most of the time when I have a conversation with the opposite sex or something like that, they automatically assume something that it's not. Like there's no clarification. I don't know if it's on my part. I need to be a better communicator or what, but it's like they're just like, "Oh, she totally wants me." And this is I mean, yes, I might be interested. I don't know you enough to know whether that would be something that I would be interested in. Like, I don't know. And yes, I might feel comfortable around you, but that doesn't mean that I might be ready. Like I already said that I'm not ready to date. I've already said that I went through a lot, that I've been healing, that I'm just not ready yet. And yet, because I say I'm not ready yet, and then we are conversing or something like that, they just assume that that means, oh, she's ready and she wants me. And I'm like, what? No, maybe I need to just not talk if I'm not ready. Maybe that's the lesson from here. Just don't talk to anyone if I'm not ready, regardless of what the circumstances are. And just so it won't be any miscommunication or any, no one can assume anything. So it'll just be black or white. Either I'm in or I'm not. Either I'm interested or I'm not. And maybe I'll be kind, but maybe I won't just be, I don't want to say open. Maybe I just won't be available at certain times or something. Like I have like this whole time thing anyways, but maybe it won't be like I'm available at all. Maybe it'll just be a, if we can't be friends and you really feel like I might be interested, then maybe I won't talk to you at all. Or I don't know. We'll see what happens. And so let's go ahead and talk about the sermon so I can stop talking about the same subject that's not getting us anywhere. And this is for edification. This is for inspiration and motivation and speaking life into the people around me. This is not because I want to tear down a whole like gender or anything like that. There are some amazing men in this world who could be great leaders. There are some amazing women in this world who could be great helpers, who could be great in their purpose, who could be speaking life into everyone around them, who could be working with other women to build each other up instead of tearing each other down. There's so many things that we can do to benefit this world, but we're going to have to get on the same page. We can't just have one out of 100 women willing to have standards and the rest of the women willing to just share a man or just to lower their standards just because they feel like they want to prove that they're better than the other woman. Like, we don't have to prove anything. We're already good enough because God created us good. We don't need to be in competition because we all have our strengths and weaknesses. We don't have to be against one another because we could be building each other up. We could be working together and we could take over the whole world. Like, you don't even understand. Women, we, the strength that we have from the things that we have to endure, and I hate to put it in generalization like this, but especially women of color. I know people are going to get mad about that. And I do think that all women are strong. I'm not saying it's one way or the other. I'm just saying that there are some things that, like when it comes to the way that people look at us, when it comes to the way that some people treat us, when it comes to the things that we have to endure through life, when it comes to when we are in relationships and because we are successful or strong or smart or intelligent or whatever else, people feel as if, and this is just my interpretation because I am a woman of color, and people feel like as if I need to just do everything on my own and will never need help or want a man or anything because I'm successful. And that's just not true. Just because I'm strong doesn't mean that I wouldn't love to have help. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't love to have someone leading my life. It doesn't mean that I would not want to be submissive to someone just because I'm a strong woman. Like, and my strength is in all of the adversities that I've been through. It's not because I'm just this strong woman out of nowhere. It's because I've been through things in life. It's because I constantly continue to go through things in life. And just because I'm strong doesn't mean that the person I'm with needs to be weak. We can both be strong together. We can hold each other up. And so I really think that we really need to get on the same page instead of trying to tear each other down, or women and women, women and men, instead of trying men and women, instead of trying to tear each other down. We really need to be building each other up and using each other to strengthen this world, to really make this world better. And I know it sounds so unrealistic because there's always going to be someone that's going to be jealous or insecure or want something that someone else has because Satan's constantly playing on our insecurities. And I also feel like instead of us trying to make someone else feel badly because we feel badly, let's try to have some common courtesy and show love and kindness where love and kindness isn't. Like, of course, still have standards and stand up for yourself, but also know that just because someone else is hurting doesn't mean that you have to hurt them. Just because you are miserable doesn't mean that you have to make other people miserable. It, if anything, when you feel miserable, when you're in a moment where you just feel like there's no hope, give hope to someone else. You serving someone else will add that hope back to you. You don't even realize it, but when I'm serving other people, it blesses me so much. Like, I don't have to receive like money or anything else. Like, me seeing like their face or seeing like feeling that, I don't know, that goodness that you feel when you serve or you help somebody else, it just makes me feel really good from the inside out. And it's not just like the glow that you see on me, the happiness that you see on my face. The inside, my heart is like warm and, it feels so good. It's just because I decided to give to someone else and or to serve someone else, to give them something that I don't have. Like, for me, I'm not in a relationship, but I every time I see someone that's getting married or proposed to or in a relationship, I'm always thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for them." And I pray. I know this is like crazy probably, and especially since I don't know their relationship, but whenever I see people in a relationship, I pray over their relationship. Like, if they're in front of me, if they're around me, I don't know what that is. What is that? Oh, it's like some glitter or something. But every time I see a person in a relationship or getting married or proposed to, I pray over their relationship. I say a silent prayer, and it goes a little something like this. It's like, God, thank you for showing me this relationship. Thank you for, everything that you've done. I pray that both of these people respect one another, that they love and honor one another in the way that they're supposed to, that they seek you first over everything else, and that you bless them with everything that it is that you intend for them to have in this relationship. In Jesus' name. And I say that, I know it sounds weird, but I really do that every time I see somebody in a relationship. It could be online, it could be in person, whatever else. And I just know all of the things that they're going to have to go through in their relationship and how hard it's going to be, and there's going to be temptation, and it's going to be moments where you get mad and you just can't agree on things, and you might you have disagreements, and you're two different human beings, so you're not always going to think the same thing, and it just makes me feel like I just want them to have what I don't have. If that makes any sense. Like, I want them to have that healthy relationship. I want them to cherish and honor one another, to respect one another. I want them to be there for one another, to when they have an issue, to call on each other, to like talk about it and not just pretend as if it doesn't bother them so that it ends up coming up 5, 10 years later. I want them to like really appreciate being able to be with each other and see each other, to breathe, to speak, to spend that time with each other. Like, things like that. I know it sounds cheesy, especially for me to be the person that likes being single and all that other stuff, but I really do feel that way when I see people in relationships, or I see people getting married or whatever else it is. And I really pray over it because, I mean, what good would it do for me? I hear some people say, "Oh, I'm so jealous of that. I want a relationship like that." I don't want anybody else's relationship. Let's be clear. I do not. Absolutely don't want anybody else's relationship because I don't know what they're going through. And I know that each person in every relationship that God has placed together is there for a reason. Like, that person might be happy because this is the type of person that they needed to push them into their purpose. This might be the type of person that they needed to help them serve other people, or like they might have an issue with, I don't know, whatever it is. And the person that they're with, their partner, might be the person who's equipped to handle it. I might not be able to handle that. I saw like this relationship with this couple that had been together for like 20 years or something, and all of the people around them were like, "Oh, I just wish I had their relationship and all this and that." And they didn't understand that at the beginning of the relationship, this couple had to struggle. They had to really struggle, and they barely had any money at the beginning. They were barely making it, and they went through a lot of tragic stuff. They the person that they were with worked all the time, barely had any time to spend in the relationship, but she was always fly. She looked really good. She had everything that she needed. And people would always say, "Oh, I want a relationship like that." You might want a relationship like that, but are you the type of woman that could could be able to withstand all that time that you didn't get to spend with your partner? Are you the type of person who would be considerate and understanding, knowing that this person has to work these long hours? Would you be the type of woman who would be able to stand on your own? Like, if you're not healed and you're trying to be with someone who's never there, it's going to be really hard for you. So, things like that are things that we never think of, especially when we see people's highlight reels. Like, we see them happy in a picture. That's one moment, that's not their whole life. And so for me, when I think about other people in relationships, I don't want anything they have because God didn't equip me for that. He equipped me for the person that's for me. So whatever it is that He's getting off of me, whatever it is that I have, that is my own trait, my own characteristic, the things that I have that God's given me as gifts is for me to share with my future person, or the person that God intends to be in my life. It's not for anybody else. And vice versa, the same thing for the guy. Like, any guy that I meet, he's going to have what it is that I would need, especially through after all the things that I've been through. It's not that he's going to be the one that heals me, that makes me feel whole, because God makes me feel whole. He gives me everything that I need. But he will, do I want to say compassionate? He will be compassionate enough, or he will be able to allow me to feel vulnerable enough. I will feel comfortable enough with this person that I won't feel like I have to push them away. Like, I'll be at a place in my life where I won't be pushing them away, because they'll understand all of the things that I've been through, and it'll make me feel comfortable enough with them because they'll be equipped for it. And so I know I went all like off course and stuff like that, but that's really how I truly feel. And sometimes, like, when you're single and you see people who seem incredible, who are amazing, and it's like, God, why can't it be that person? And God's like, I didn't choose that person, so let's get it straight. And I'm like, yes, yes, Lord, absolutely, because I can't choose anybody. We know what happened last time and several times. So let's do the right thing by God and let Him be the one that takes the lead, because when I choose, I like to choose the wrong thing. So I need to make sure God is all up in it, like, throughout it. I cannot be in any relationship with any person that's not of God at all. And it's not always like an easy thing, like, oh yeah, that's not the person. Okay, this person seems like an incredible person, but okay. But God might know that if I was with this person, they might not appreciate me the way that God intended for the person with me to appreciate me. I might not be at my full potential if I'm with this person, because I might want to be around this person more. And instead of me and my purpose traveling or whatever else, I might feel like I can't go because I'm with this person. I don't know. Like, you never know. And so I always try to think of things like that when I can't be with certain people, or things don't work out the way that I want them to, or whatever else. I just know that if it was God, there's nothing that I could do to stop it. If if God wanted me to have this thing or this person in my life, He would let that person or thing be in my life. It's not that anyone could ever make that person not be there or whatever else. So I don't know what is happening. I'm like doing some stuff here, like that thing that happens sometimes, and then I'm yawning, and oh my goodness, it's early. So, all right, let's get to the message at hand. Almost an hour later. Mm-mm-mm. So the pastor said, "Come prepared for the destination." He talked about an example about how your single season, some people treat it as a layover instead of a just enjoying the season that they're in. And I really feel like that's how a lot of us do. We are constantly waiting for us to be at our destination. We're like, oh, we want to be single. We want to be at this place. We want to be at that place. But we're not thinking about enjoying the journey. We're not thinking about all the people we get to meet along the way who we didn't think would be beneficial in our life. We're not thinking about the things that God's blessing us with on our journey. We're not thinking about the fact that we have become more patient. We're not thinking about the fact that we get to be the single parent who's an awesome single parent. We don't think about being able to, I'm not saying I'm an awesome single parent. I do the best that I can. And I just try to be honest and upfront about that, because I don't think that any parent could ever be perfect. And so we don't think about how we get to dance around the house at, at all hours of the day. Like anytime, 12 o'clock at night, whatever, and the person you're with might just not be okay with it. We don't think about all the handstands that we get to do or skating in the kitchen, and the person might be like a real neat freak and not want the floors to be messed up, even though you're going to clean them, and they might be slipping and falling because you got to scrub the floors every time you skate in the kitchen. Like things like that are things that I think that a lot of single people don't think about. They don't think about the fact that they get to build this relationship with God during the season, that they get to go to all these different events and things, and they don't have to check with someone else to go. They can go see any movie they want, and they don't have to check to see if this is the movie that the person that they're with wants to see. They can drive and go places that they want to go, like as long as your budget affords it. And they can like go to the mall whenever. They can go to the spa. They can go to the beach. They can go, it's getting colder now, so they can go to like a bonfire or something else. They can go to different places, do different things, see different people. They can spend all of this time with their family that they don't have to divide between anyone else besides their family because they're not with anyone, which is good. Like these are moments that you can't get back. Things that eventually down the line, like when people get older, when things happen, you will think about the time that you wasted that you didn't get to spend with those people because you were doing something else. And I'm not saying that I would ever pull time away from my family for someone else. I'm just saying right now, because I have more time, I'm giving more time to the people that love and care about me when I'm not doing my business stuff and when I'm not working. And so I just think that we just don't appreciate enough being in our single season. We like to pretend like, oh yeah, I'm good, or oh yeah, I'm appreciating it. But then you go places and your head's on a swivel because you're looking and you're just thinking, oh, is it that person? Is it that person? I'm not saying I do this, but I see a lot of people do this. And instead of just enjoying the restaurant and the food and the atmosphere, instead of just enjoying walking and just smiling because it's a good day, because you got to breathe and speak and talk and smell and hear, and you still got all your limbs, or you're walking and running and talking, and you can hear the sounds and everything else, like everything that you are blessed to be able to do. Instead of just appreciating that, you're worried about something that you don't even know when it's going to happen. You don't even know how it's going to happen. You don't even know who. You might know who. God, you might be the type of woman that's like, God told me that's my husband. And make sure that God actually told you that, and it's not just your want. I say that because I hear a lot of people say, God said this is my husband. And it's like, okay. But no, really, really discern, spend some time with God and really acknowledge, really listen to what he's saying. And if he's telling you that this is your husband or your wife, listen to what God is telling you. Don't just go off of, well, I like this person, so I'm going to make this person be my husband or my wife. Like, no, you need to really be intentional with your life and really listen for God's response, because God is going to give you everything that you need. He's not going to give you what you want. He's going to give you what you need. And so you might want this really attractive man with gorgeous eyes or gorgeous body or gorgeous height. I mean, gorgeous height. You know what I mean? A certain height or whatever else. But God might say that 6'4" man is not yours with a chiseled chest. The man that I have for you is is this 5'8" man who, or 5'9" man who is uh instead of like one complexion, he's another complexion. Maybe he's an entrepreneur or something. He is smart and intelligent, and he's well spoken, and he respects himself. He has values that are similar to yours. He's the type of man that will appreciate you because he's been waiting for you. And instead of the 6'2" chiseled guy, or the whatever other guy there is that is just a decent human being but just not the person for you. Like really focus in on what God is calling for your life, what he's calling into your life, what he really wants for you, so that you can be everything that he intended for you to be, so you can give glory to the kingdom. And so let me just keep on going. So the next thing he said, okay, embrace your season. We went over that. Then it says, when you're embracing your season, it will allow you to see who you want to meet. And I think what he was saying about that is you don't miss someone that God would want you to meet in your single season. Because when we're in a rush, when we're trying to push things that aren't supposed to be there, when we're trying to force things to fit that don't fit, when we are trying to just rush through life, we miss the moments that God wants us to have in our pocket for later on, the things that the lessons that we're going to learn along the journey, the just being able to smell the air in the journey, just being able to just appreciate the moment that you're in, just to appreciate the time with your friends and family, appreciate the time that you get to spend by yourself, because not everybody gets to be alone. Sometimes some people are always around someone and they never get that peace of mind. They never get that alone time. And even when it comes to just really focusing in on God, spending that time with Him, being in your word, praying, creating that relationship so that you can come to Him at any moment, so that when you're going through something, you can call on Him. When you're happy, you can talk to Him. You don't have to just complain about everything. You can actually tell Him about the things that you appreciate that He does in your life. You can give him a grateful list. You can give him a blessed list. Like, you bless me in this way, this way, and this way. And these are only the ways that we know. There's ways that God has blessed us behind the scenes. We don't even know. He stopped that car from hitting us. He stopped that accident from happening. He stopped that person from wasting our time. He stopped that friend from stealing from us, or whatever else it is. Like, you never know what it is, or that friend from just being jealous and then trying to take over your life, or whatever. So just appreciate everything that it is that God is doing for you, that you see, and everything that He does for you that you haven't even noticed, you don't even know about, but He was working in the background on your behalf. It just says to slow down, which I was just saying, slow down and appreciate the moments, because you'll never get that moment again. And it says, if you don't work on the things from your past, you can't be healthy and ready for your future, which is so true. He used an example saying that because of all the baggage that you're carrying on the layover, it doesn't allow you to appreciate where you are. His example was he was in this beautiful place, and instead of him just sightseeing and taking in the food and the ambiance, he just really just wanted to rush to get back home. He wanted to rush to be wherever it was that he was going, instead of just being in the moment, instead of allowing God to work those things off of us that we need off, or to allow us to serve in a certain way, or be in our purpose in certain places so that we can get things done on God's schedule. Because I don't think that we would stop being in our purpose when we're with someone, but it hits a little different when you're in a relationship, because it takes away time from other areas of your life, especially if you're trying to be intentional, because you're spending that time, that hour talking, or you're spending that time, that that moment with that person, instead of that moment doing something else. And I'm not saying you should stop doing your purpose or stop going to events or anything like that. But I also think that when you're in a relationship, it pulls different energy from you. So instead of you having more things, you might have less of that one thing. Or instead of you spending more time here, you might spend less time there. And so we just really have to allow God to work certain things out of us that don't need to be in that relationship, or to allow us to be in our purpose for as long or as much as we can. There, like this book, if God would have, and I don't know if this is so true, but for the most part, I do believe this is true. If God would have right away introduced me to someone and we would have been in a relationship. Like, let's say we got together, we went on a few dates, we knew that we were heading in whatever direction, we decided that we were going to give it a chance. We started dating, and then we started being in a relationship. I wouldn't have finished this book. I wouldn't have, because my focus would have been on that person. I would have been thinking about, are they thinking about me? I would have been thinking about, like, their looks, or whatever, the eyes, or their smile, or whatever else it is. I would have been thinking about how I just can't wait to see that person again, or something like that. Even though, I can wait because that's what it is. But I would be that person would be on my mind more than my purpose would be on my mind for writing, or my intention to finish writing the book, or to finish up the last finishing touches on the things that I needed to do. So it's really just a blessing, and this is something that God intended for me to do, that he spoke over my life and he put in my heart for me to write and to do, to help possibly change the world. And so when you're doing something like that's in your purpose, that is God ordained, it's really hard. It's it's impossible to do that while still focusing on building with someone else, if that makes any sense, because it takes so much time. And I'm not saying that because you're in your purpose you're missing out on anything. I really truly feel like anything that's supposed to happen in your life will happen. And so, even if I had to take time away to write this book, if I'm meant to be with certain people, it'll happen. If I'm not meant to be with certain people, the next person that comes along will be there at the right moment and the right time, and it will allow for me to be able to be in my purpose and be with that person. Sorry, there's leaves falling. So I was like, what is that? But it's a leaf, so we're good. So, and then the last thing that it said is just to be in your purpose. Don't allow this single season to distract you from your purpose. Don't allow it to, even though Satan may want to just flash things in your mind, like mistakes that you've made or things that you've said. And you might feel like, if you're a guy or a woman, you might feel like, oh, I shouldn't have said that thing. If I didn't say that, then I could have kept the person around, or maybe things could have been differently. No, you said what you said. It's in the past now. So the only thing you can do is learn a lesson from it. And when the right person comes into your life, this is something that one of my older family members said. They said, when the right person comes into your life, you don't have to worry about the things that you're going to say. You just lead with, good intentions, and everything else will fall into place. And I truly believe that. I felt that in my spirit when they said it. And I really truly feel like the right person for you, it won't be you constantly saying the wrong things all the time. It won't be you feeling like you have to fit into like some sort of mold. You won't have to dim your light to make someone else shine brighter. You won't have to worry about just trying to pretend to be something that you're not. You won't have to worry about trying to make something fit or happen. It will just happen. And it will be all God. I have to give glory to God. I can't just pretend like it will just happen. No, God will make it happen. And so, in conclusion, in this single season, just enjoy being single. I know I say that all the time, and sometimes I mean it. Most of the time I mean it. Sometimes I'm in my head, I'm over analyzing things. I'm thinking about all of these mistakes I've made in the past instead of just focusing on my purpose, but I'm trying to do better. And so just really enjoy it. Don't take that old baggage with you into the new relationship. Try to do as much healing as you possibly can while you have the time. Try to enjoy the time that you get to spend with your family and friends as much as you possibly can at this moment, because when you start being in a relationship, it will pull some of your energy away from other things that you've been able to do while you're single. That class that you like to take every Saturday, you might not be able to take every Saturday. Or maybe you going on me dates every whatever third Saturday or something of a month might not be able to happen if you're in a relationship, and you're going on a date. It might have to be another day or something. Maybe you like to do whatever it is, and that so happened to fall on the same time that you're going on a mini vacation, or on a vacation, or you're traveling somewhere or something else. And so it takes that day away from that other thing. Take this time to just really enjoy the things that you get to do by yourself. Like, sometimes we don't even think about all the things that we get to do alone, and the way that we get to enjoy it the way we want. We don't have to worry about someone else's opinion or how they feel about it. We can really just enjoy the moment the way that we intend to. Like, I went on my me date last month, and I went to a park into like this downtown area. I had the best time of my life. Like, and I didn't have the best time because it was luxurious and I just did all of these amazing things. I had the best time because I really did appreciate the moment that I was in. I wasn't thinking about any guys. I wasn't thinking about meeting new friends. I wasn't thinking about anything that would concern me or be on my mind or have me doubtful. The only thing I was thinking of is I just want to enjoy this moment of my life right now, where I am in this moment of my life where I just get to do things like this. I didn't have to check with anyone. Not saying that it's gonna be a whole controlling thing or anything like that. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. and and I just really got to sit in that moment and just enjoy it. Like most people don't get to do that. Most people don't even think about doing that. They're in such a rush, just trying to rush through life going nowhere. Because where are you really going? You're rushing to do something that is supposed to be intended to be fun. You're rushing to hurry up and get like a game over with. You're rushing to do all of these things instead of just enjoying the moment. And we really do need to enjoy the moments that we have in life. I I really had the best time ever on my solo date. Like, you don't understand. On my me date, I really just went to a park. The park is near downtown. So I'm at this park and they have like this like bench seating area and this board that you can do like selfies at and all this stuff. Well, it's probably not a selfie board. It's probably for something else, but I used it for a selfie board because I took some selfies in front of it. And so so I'm sitting there and I mean, it's perfect weather. It was like 70 some degrees. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, the clouds were out. It was just so beautiful. And I'm sitting on this bench and I got my feet out on the bench, crossing my legs. Like, I'm just I wasn't laid back, but I was just sitting there and just like, wow, God, like this is amazing. Like look at these trees that you created and this water that you created and all of these things around me. The sky is like so blue and the sun is shining above me and the wind was blowing a little bit, but it was all good. Like the wind made like a wind machine for my hair, a natural wind machine. So when I took the pictures, it looked like it was all luxurious, but really it was just the wind was blowing like crazy. But it was all good. And even with the wind blowing like that, I still enjoyed it. I still took in that moment. I still smelt the fresh air. I still enjoyed just being able to sit on the bench in the park and not have anybody asking me for anything, not having to feel like I have to be forced to hurry up and do something, not feeling like I had to look a certain way or do things a certain way or stand a certain way or talk a certain way or not say something or say something. Like I could really just be me. I could really just be me in that moment. Really. I could really just enjoy being myself. And it really just it felt amazing. And then I went to a few art galleries and I went to this little cute boutique that was like had some really really cute style in it. It had like the glow letters like I'm about to put here, and it had like this cute little like tasting thing, and it was like a thing that you could pick your own flowers and you can sit out in the courtyard, and I just was walking around having the time of my life. I really just enjoyed my life in that moment. I enjoyed it. And not a lot of people can say they get to do that. Like, I really just got to enjoy being by myself and spending that moment alone. And of course, I was thanking God while I sat there looking out at everything and being amazed by the things that God created. I really was just so thankful of everything that He's done in my life and just Him being Him and a God of mercy and grace and just allowing me to be in that moment because I'm gonna try not to cry. I never thought that I could ever feel that happy. You don't understand. Like, you just don't understand. I really, I never thought that I could feel that happy. I never thought that I could feel that much peace. I always thought my life was going to be chaotic and miserable, and I was always going to be taken for granted. And I really, really just felt like happiness wasn't going to be a part of my future. And
even being able to think about having that type of peace in my life just by myself is so insane. It's God is so amazing. Like you just don't understand. I every time I talk about God, I'm either smiling or I'm happy crying, and it just happens every time. And I'm not gonna apologize because it's just something that happens. It's just like every time I think about God's grace and the things that He's carried me through, and the things that He allows me to have, I feel so grateful. Like I just can't even believe that He used me, and I hope and pray that He continues to use me so that maybe I can make someone else feel the way that I do right now. Maybe someone else will find God and they'll see the peace that they've always been seeking in a substance or something else. Maybe they'll finally feel that peace that they were looking for, that love that they were looking for in a relationship in God. And I'm gonna hurry up and get off of here because we had enough of this. And so, in conclusion, again, just enjoy every season of your life because you will never get that moment back again.